Hello everyone, my name is Chris. I study in college and I have an unusual hobby, bringing me profits. You've probably heard that people always tend to collect something, right? Like action figures of comic book characters, postcards, stamps, posters with their favorite band, magnets from different countries on the fridge. I also have my own collection. But hey, what's so unusual about it? The thing is, I collect other people's secrets. I find out something by accident or find out something on purpose, exchange one secret for another, and get money for this. Sounds interesting, right? I still remember my first exhibit item in the collection. And the most important thing is that later I learned how to make money on my hobby. How? I'll tell you. Well, it all started when I went to high school. Like many of my classmates, I dreamed of finishing school, going to college or university, and then definitely going to work. Why? To earn money. Why earn money? To buy what I want, so I can stop asking my parents for pocket money. Of course, while studying at school, one can also find some part-time jobs. For example, walking the neighbor's dog, pizza delivery on weekends, selling ice cream in a small van, whatever. But every time I told my parents I planned to find a small job for myself, they strictly forbade me to do this, saying it would distract me from studying, which was so important to me, and they gave me more pocket money. Well, I was fine with it till a certain moment. Nevertheless, I still had the idea that it would be great to find a part-time job that would not interfere with my studies and would not require a lot of effort. Apparently, I wanted it so badly that this job found me. One day after class, me and my friend were loudly discussing a new video game during the lesson, and in the end, for some reason, I turned out to be a whipping boy. I had to quickly clean up the anatomy room, dust the shelves, sweep up the trash, and so on. But this was the anatomy room, so I decided it was a good time to get to know the local school landmark, Scotty the Skeleton. I opened the closet where the teacher had carefully hidden Scotty, and I was turning on my phone to shoot a killer TikTok video when I heard some voices. My first reaction was to hide in the closet. For some reason, I would be sure I would get into trouble for touching something in this office without asking, so I barely fit into Scotty's closet and hid. Judging by the voices, the biology teacher and the geography teacher, who were known throughout the school as best friends and gossip girls, came into the classroom together. They didn't think there might be anyone in the class, so they didn't even lower the volume of their voices. And judging by their emotions and intonations, they were clearly discussing something personal and not work issues. While I was listening, I could even make out what they were talking about. And they did what they loved most, gossiping. They discussed their colleague, an art teacher, who, as it turned out, cheated on her husband with our principal. Whoa, that's news! I can't say this is what I really wanted to know, but the information was quite interesting, so I couldn't help but listen even more. Judging by the words of the friends, everyone at school had long guessed this, and at the last New Year's party, they finally figured this out, except that Mrs. Roberts' husband, our art teacher, didn't know anything about it, which made the female part of the group sympathetic. It's kinda a soap opera show over there. The teachers discussed something else and left the office for lunch. I was glad for the opportunity and quickly tidied up the office, if you can call a couple of swipes a cleaning. Then I quickly washed the floor with a rag and a mop and went home. I really wanted to share the secret I had learned, but gossiping is not my style, you know? Just out of curiosity, I checked Mrs. Roberts' Facebook profile page. Many photos with family, kids, and husband, but she's probably not as positive as she wants to look like. And suddenly, I wanted to kind of prank the teacher. I wanted to text Mrs. Roberts kind of like, "I know what you did last summer," and see her reaction. I was so excited with this idea that I even created a fake account, opened a dialogue with Mrs. Roberts, and texted her, "I know you're cheating on your husband." Just like that. period. I must admit, I thought there was a 90% chance she would ignore my message, but the response came almost instantly. Mrs. Roberts asked me who I was and what I wanted for my silence. I mean, what do I want for my silence? I thought it was just a joke, and she was ready to make a deal right away just to keep me quiet. I definitely didn't expect this. Wanting to continue my joke, I calculated the amount and texted her. She immediately agreed and said she would put the money under one of the benches in the local park. At this point, she closed the dialogue, apparently sending my contact to the blacklist. What the heck was it? The next day, just out of curiosity, I waited until there was no one in the park and looked under the bench Mrs. Roberts pointed to in our messages. There was a wrapped parcel there, the money. It took me a couple of seconds to make a decision. After all, I couldn't just leave it there, could I? That's how I sold my first secret. The random secret that was accidentally sold by me. But the more I thought about it, the more I had the nagging idea I could make money on it on a more permanent basis. But the thing is, where could I get so many secrets? And the answer came to me by itself, again. Me and my friends were sitting in a cafe near the school. Most often, it was filled with high school students who did not particularly want to go home after school. I went to the bathroom, but noticed that all the booths in the men's room were occupied. Without thinking twice, as the body demanded its own, I turned into the women's toilet, and fortunately, it was empty. I slipped into one of the booths and hoped I would remain unnoticed. Then I heard some voices. 2 girls were talking. I couldn't tell from the voice who it was, but I could tell they were probably from my school too. And judging by the content of their conversation, they were 100% from some senior classes. One friend told another she was planning to get pregnant by her boyfriend specifically so that she wouldn't have to worry about going to university, and also to keep the guy from going to another woman. Are you kidding me? Does this really happen in real life? I even sympathized with her poor boyfriend beforehand. I opened the door just enough to see at least some of the clothes on one of the speakers. I decided that when I returned to the gym, I would try to find out exactly who was talking in the toilet. And I did it. It really was the girl from the senior class. My friend's sister went to school with them, so in the evening, it was not difficult for me to find these girls on Facebook. And then the guy who was in danger of becoming a happy father in the near future. I've been staring at his page for a long time. I was wondering whether it was the right thing to tell him this little secret, or was it none of my business? But in the end, I started a conversation with an anonymous account. I introduced myself as a well-wisher and revealed the harsh truth as it was. Then, for some reason, I didn't even think about asking for money for revealing the secret. At first, Eddie, the guy's name, didn't believe me. He called me all sorts of names and told me not to make up such nonsense, but I just suggested he go all in and talk to his girlfriend as if he already knew everything. I don't know if my words affected him or if he was already planning the conversation, but the next day he texted me, thanked me, and told me it was all true, and then suddenly offered a monetary reward. I did not refuse and used the already proven method with a bench in the park. So I sold my second secret. That's how I made sure people are definitely willing to pay for such a product, so to speak. And you can sometimes accidentally learn someone's secrets and use this knowledge for your own purposes. Women's toilets, parties, and even the girls themselves are perfect sources for adding secrets to my unique collection. For example, once a girl, wanting to please me, said some secret about her friends. After that, I started doubting whether she really was their friend or just an acquaintance who doesn't mind whispering behind their backs. You may be judging me now, thinking I'm poking my nose into other people's affairs, but anyway, it's not ethical to interfere in someone else's life, but I don't think that my hobby harms anyone. It is unusual and very exciting, especially when you find out someone's little secret once again. What do you think about this? Are you judging me? Or do you think that people themselves are to blame for blurting out their secrets? I'm waiting for your answers in the comments below this video. I would be happy if you liked this video. Like it, subscribe to the channel, and wait for the new stories and new characters to come. And turn on notifications so you don't miss new videos. See you soon, guys, and don't forget to keep your mouth shut. Remember, walls do have ears.